Watch, the reason why you clicked on this video is because you want the exact ingredients to create a winning culture of 18 people that are coachable, ask for feedback, they show up, and they get the job done. You want to stay away from the C-team players that cost you energy and heartache because they're too entitled, they're full of gossip and drama. So, go ahead and watch this video. It's from a training that I recently taught, the exact formula to the culture game, because there are 3 things that agents want in order to buy your info product or join your network. They first of all want a level of accountability. They also want to have a sense of community. And ultimately, though, they want to have the ability to move the ball down the field and win. So enjoy, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you there. When you look at this, what we're really talking about is creating the culture game. And there's rules of your culture. 3 rules. How many rules? Put them on the screen. How many rules? 3. Number 1 is do the right thing. Do the right thing. Number 2, do the best you can. And number 3, show others that you care. Now, this is my attempt at how to put energy into words so that you can create a context in order to expand it inside of your brand. And in a minute, I'm going to bring in one of my favorites who's going to share with you how he's done it with inside of his brand. It's worked amazing. Okay. But when you look at this and we look at rule number 1, this we have to define further. It's have a plan, work the plan, measure your results, be accountable, see it, own it, solve it, do it. Be obsessed with getting on base. Here's what for me. Be obsessed with getting on base and setting appointments that leads to contracts and revenue into business. Like that was what we put in part of our culture rules in do the right thing. Doing the right thing is getting on appointments. It's not the right thing to not meet with people. You guys get that? You cannot serve anyone if you're not getting appointments. Rule number 2 is do the best you can. Turn problems into opportunities. Be aware to get on base and set appointments that lead to contracts that drive revenue into the business. How many of you guys are seeing a theme in my culture that setting appointments is a part of what we talk about a lot? Why? Because I know I could have the world's best marketing, but if I'm not converting it, it's worth 0. Act with a sense of urgency. Ask the question, what else can I do? Ask for coaching. What can I do better? Reject average and good enough. Accept outstanding and extraordinary. Learn, correct, improve, and grow. Now, we can all have a thought that we think like, yeah, this feels good. How many of you guys agree? Like, this is some good stuff. The biggest mistake that I see is people create their culture rules or they put some words with some cool things that sound good together on a paper, but then they stuck it away inside of a folder and it never gets talked about again. How many of you guys have seen that before? Or you've even experienced it in your own business? And then the third is show others that you care. Show respect. Say please and thank you. You're welcome. I'm sorry. Show and express appreciation. Have each other's back. You got to build this into your culture because I can promise you there's going to be a day that someone is going to come up to you and they're going to talk shit on someone in your organization. I guarantee you that there are people in here that have been in rooms that someone was talking negatively about me. And my idea is building a culture that if they came up and talked to me about you guys and gals, I would only have your back the entire time. You've got to create that inside of your culture because it's bound to happen. The same thing with your relationships, by the way. You've got to have each other's backs in your relationships. Let's see what else. Show and express appreciation, have each other's back, engage as a team, engage with clients. Support. This is one of my favorites. Support others and allow others to support you. Here's a really good one, by the way. Don't take anything personal. Remember, we're all doing the best that we can. So if you've got someone in your organization that every time you ask to give them some coaching or some feedback, and they take it personal and they get upset and they give you some resistance, what energy is vibrating? Is it an attractive one or a resistant one? So this is so important as you're defining what you're going to offer in your company, your team, your network. You've got to create a context that everyone vibrates this. By the way, my brand actually got off course with this in 2023. This will happen that you may get off course with this and you better course correct quickly. We had to course correct and it cost us big time. Now, when we look at this, we want to look, and I don't have time to go through all of these. there's a training module in your membership area that goes through it called the culture game. But there are what are called towards rules. This is what I'm working towards. Okay? So positive mental attitude is key for me, but I want you to notice how I language it. Anytime I always start all my toward values with this. Anytime I anytime I purposely act with enthusiasm or optimism or positivity in a team huddle or in a team meeting or in a client with a colleague or at an event or someone gives me feedback or I have a lot to get done or I'm working towards my targets or I remember to be an A team player. So notice what I'm phrasing. Anytime I do X or Y or Z, what I'm not doing is this and this and this. Because I want to be on, I just want to know, have any of you guys shown up to a team meeting and not been extremely positive? Raise your hand if I'm the only one. Right. So but yet then all of a sudden you realize, hey, wait, I need to act with a little bit more enthusiasm. And then you met with a client and you were really positive, really enthusiastic. So we have to set ourselves up into understanding that sometimes we will fall short with these values. But let me go further. When we look at what our away values are, this is what I'm working away from. I want to move away from that. And let me give you an example for the first one and listen to the language. Consistent inappropriate entitlement. Consistent inappropriate entitlement. So listen to how I start this. Only if I were to consistently act entitled and believe. Let me just act for a second. Has anyone on here, raise your hand, have you ever acted entitled before? At least once. Besides me, I'm the only one. Hold on. Do you guys have hands? I want to make sure your hands are. I was just making sure. Okay, cool. Thank you. But notice this is about consistently acting entitled and believe that I am inherently deserving of privileges or special treatment instead of act from a place of contribution and know that I deserve to be rich and receive only when I add value to other people's lives. And understand, in order to add value to other people's lives, we obsess as A team players in setting appointments that lead to contracts because leads have no value, contracts do, and that getting on base is the most important part to drive revenue into the business. Notice what I've done is it's what we've taken away from, and then we move back to the towards.